Well, hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today I am making old-fashioned banana pudding. We're going to the Phillips family reunion tomorrow, and I just don't think it would be fitting to have a reunion without a scratch-made banana pudding. It's kind of what we have learned to expect when we go to those sorts of things. Church socials, family reunions. It's just the perfect time to make a big banana pudding. And I'm calling it old-fashioned because I'm making it from scratch. And I'm also going to make a beautiful meringue on the top. Oh, I can hardly wait. Hopefully we can wait till tomorrow to eat it. And what I'm doing right now is slicing my bananas. I've layered the bottom of my dish with vanilla wafers and bananas. And I'm putting it in this beautiful dish. My mother gave this to me. Actually, my grandmama Adams gave this to her years and years and years ago. And she gave it to me not so long ago. And I've enjoyed it so much. And I thought, gosh, this bright yellow color is the perfect color for serving a banana pudding. All right, the bottom is done. I've layered the bottom, like I said, with vanilla wafers, and then I've topped those with the sliced bananas. Now, if you're making this in a 9x13 dish, that's perfect. This is basically the equivalent of that. Now, I'm gonna set this aside and we're gonna get started on our pudding. I have a cup of granulated sugar and 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And I just put it all in the same dish, and I'm just gonna blend this up a tiny bit. And this is going into my saucepan. We're not gonna have to temper eggs, which I really love not doing. Tempering eggs can be tricky, and there's no tempering in this recipe, therefore it's one of my favorites. Now I'm adding a dash of salt, or just a pinch. Doesn't make it salty, just balances the sweet. I don't have my heat on yet, and I am using just a heavy bottom saucepan. Now let's talk about the eggs. I'm using 4 eggs in this recipe, and I'm separating the eggs, and I'm saving my egg whites for my meringue. And to separate an egg, I'm just gonna crack it and then toss the egg yolk back and forth into the shell, and the egg yolk is going into my milk. I have 3½ cups of whole milk. You definitely want to use a whole milk in this recipe, because if you don't, it's going to be a little on the thin side. And hey, if you're going to have banana pudding, you need to go all the way. And that goes right in. Now, I'm going to put these egg whites in the refrigerator and let them sit until I'm ready to use them. So, there we go. And now, what I'm going to do is just mix this a little bit. Just break up those egg yolks. I'm not looking to really just mix it and blend it all together. I just want to help those egg yolks along just a little bit. And this is going right in my flour and sugar. I missed an egg. Or 2. Oh, that's okay. When they're eating it, they'll never know. And now what I'm going to do is blend this all together. Just make sure that that flour and that sugar is incorporated in the milk and in the eggs. See the nice pretty color that those egg yolks give this. And now I'm turning my heat on a medium high. And I am going to keep stirring this, making sure that the bottom doesn't stick. Anytime you're cooking with eggs or milk, you really need to keep a close eye on it because it can scald quickly before you know it. But I'm going to let this heat up, and this, to get it the consistency that we want to get it, can take up to 10 minutes. You need to be patient with it. It's super easy, but we definitely want to make sure that we're going to cook this pudding to its pudding stage, and that takes a little bit of time. And that's pretty much it until this gets to a nice soft boil. And when it does, I'm still going to cook it another minute, and then I'll show you what we'll do next. I can hardly wait. Look at this. Now that's what I call a pudding. Look how nice and thick this got. I know it is going to taste good. Turn that heat off and get this out of the way. Now, I'm going to add a little bit more flavor to our pudding. This is the perfect consistency. Now what I'm going to add is some vanilla extract, and I'm adding a tablespoon. That's a lot, but it is going to give it a lot of flavor. And one of the reasons why I didn't add the vanilla before I cooked it is because you'll cook the vanilla flavor out. And I'm also adding about 2 tablespoons of butter. You don't have to add butter, but I will tell you that it does add a little bit more creaminess, a little bit more flavor, and it gives the pudding a beautiful shine, which, hey, I've never added butter to anything that it didn't make better. So do we really need a reason to add butter? Okay. And now, what I'm going to do, so good, y'all, it smells so good. I'm going to take this pudding and I'm taking about half. I hope you can see this. And now I'm going to add more vanilla wafers. They were out of vanilla wafers at the store. I don't know about y'all, but we are out of a lot of things. Saltine crackers, of all things. You go into the store here in Dothan, Alabama, saltines are, they're just non-existent right now. I saw somebody post on Facebook the other day that they traded some cheese for some saltine crackers. Hey, I would do that. Now, I'm not making a thick layer of these vanilla wafers, but I am just putting a few in the middle. And that way you don't have to scoop all the way down to the bottom to get the vanilla wafers. It's the vanilla wafers and the bananas that make this so good. Why not, right? Now, see what I've got there? And you know what I am going to do next. I'm going to take one more banana and put some slices right over the top. My grandmama Dossie wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. She hated bananas. She said when she was little, her parents would mix her medicine in a banana so she would eat it and She never liked bananas since. Okay, now for the rest of this pudding. Just gonna layer it right on top. Try to get it all. Gosh, this looks so good. And just gonna spread this out. That looks perfect. See? Yum. Now let's see. Oh my goodness. That's so smooth and creamy. I might have should have saved more in my pan. But my husband doesn't come home in the next few minutes, otherwise he'll steal my bite. No, otherwise he's gonna want to get in this pudding. Telling him that we have to wait until tomorrow to eat this is not gonna go over well. Now what I'm gonna do is just put this aside and we're gonna start working on our meringue. I want this to cool just a little bit because I don't want to put the meringue on a super hot pudding. So off to the side we go. I'm gonna preheat my oven to 350 degrees. And I have my egg whites here. And I also have some meringue powder. I've called it dried egg whites in other recipes, but if you're gonna go buy it in the store, it's meringue powder. You can find it in most grocery stores. Hobby Lobby has it, or Michael's. And I add a teaspoon of this meringue powder into my egg whites. And what that's gonna do is stabilize them. And it's gonna make this nice, beautiful whipped meringue. Now I have my mixer, and I'm gonna start mixing this on a high speed until they're nice and fluffy. Here we go. All right, look how they've just tripled or quadrupled in size. Now this is the perfect time to go ahead and add our sugar. We're gonna sweeten this up a little bit. And I'm gonna add about a half of a cup. Ooh. Ooh. Try not to make a mess, and what do? I make a mess. You can stop at this point. You do not have to make a meringue. Cool Whip is absolutely delicious over a banana pudding, and a lot of people prefer it. But to be true old-fashioned, and since it's not summer yet, we're still in March and it's nice spring. I say spring, it's about to be 25 degrees here this weekend. But I'm gonna make the meringue. Just blending that a little bit so it doesn't make a mess. And I'm adding a teaspoon of vanilla. There we go. Now, I'm just gonna whip this until they're nice, stiff peaks. Look at that. That is exactly what we're looking for. See, this is honestly the consistency of a whipped cream. Ooh, that's good, y'all. Now, back to our pudding. And I am going to scoop this out and just daub it over our pudding. Just get that on in. There we go. Now, in order to get that really pretty meringue look, take the back of your spoon and just spread it out. Work from the middle to the outside, and I'm not going all the way to the edges of my dish. I like to leave a little bit of the pudding showing, and I'm also going to add some more vanilla wafers. Now, take your spoon and you're just going to do like that. There we go. That's so good. Tastes like marshmallows. Now, this is just about ready to go in the oven. But what I'm going to do is take my zester, my grater, whatever it's called, and a vanilla wafer. And before this cooks, just so this gets a little toasty, I'm going to zest this. Or, I don't know what I'm doing. What's it called when you zest a cookie? I'm making cookie crumbs. Now this is going to cook in the oven for about 10 minutes or until those peaks that we made get nice and golden brown. So in it goes. Set my timer, and I'm going to get this cleaned up, and when I come back, we're going to have banana pudding. That looks like perfection right there. Oh my goodness. Now, if you like, you can eat it warm. I've eaten a banana pudding warm many times and they're delicious. But I'm going to let this sit and cool down completely, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and let it sit overnight. This is one of those things that the longer it sits, the better it gets. You know, I cannot close this video out without sharing whose recipe this is. This is my dear friend Sandy Nueman's recipe. She's not with us anymore. She died of breast cancer, and she was an absolute treasure of a friend. She and I used to sing together. We went to church together for years, and anytime we had a covered dish at church, she would bring one of two things: a blackberry cobbler or her delicious banana pudding. So I know one day I'll see Sandy again, and until then, every time I make this banana pudding, I will think of her. Listen, you're a blessing to me. Thank you so much for joining me today. Be a blessing. Share this video with someone. Make this for your family or your friends or just someone that loves banana pudding. Now, let me see if I can keep this from being eaten before tomorrow, because I know when my husband gets home, he's gonna want some. You know what? That's all right. Blessings, everyone. See you next time.